Yo, what up, street togs, street gods, street vlogs, Bitcoin MSTR togs. All right, Eric came in the house. Shout out to my friend Oliver Crooms. Hope you're doing good in Berlin. Das hast du gut gemacht. All right, so let's bring that fire. So Erkim, Bitcoin, cyber strategies. So I had an interesting thought this morning is that like AI is like your metaphorical weapon. It's like your cyber spear, right? To penetrate. And then Bitcoin becomes your cyber shield. So assuming that we are the new cyber Spartans. Okay, what's gonna be the news? Right? So, Chinese are in town. Okay, so anyways. So assuming that we the new digital Spartan, we the cyber Spartan, we the new stoic Spartan cyber togs, right? It's an interesting confluence. So my generalized thought is okay, so what is the point of money? Money is like a shield. It's like a digital army. It's like cyber armor, right? So for example, like assume that your life is like the Iliad, your Achilles. What do you need? You need your spear, right? Longer reach. Your black ashen spear that's like that only Achilles could wield. Your massive shield. Chariot is optional. Chariot plus war horse plus chariot, other dude on the back, right? But when it comes down to it, you know, Achilles versus Hector, all you need is your spear and your shield, right? And so the point of money is not being able to have to be in a position with your strong arm to do stuff you don't want to do, right? And so money, right? Capital, cyber shield, Bitcoin is essentially your, it's your defense system. It's your defense network, right? It's kind of like the new Star Wars, right? And Bitcoin, I mean, also yielded, interestingly, MSTR, MSTU, right? And then becomes your digital Bitcoin cyber spear where you can penetrate the market and gain yield. So the Erikim strategy is very simple. Buy a bunch of Bitcoin on Coinbase, right? And then do that mortgage your Bitcoin option thing, right? And you get a bunch of cash. Then use that money to buy MSTR and or MSTU. And then you could use that to essentially make money. It's a very simple strategy. I open sourced it. Looks like the Bitcoin treasury companies is going viral. And I think the problem too now is all the traditional paradigms about finance are all going to be rewritten. And I'm grateful that I studied sociology and, you know, self-taught myself philosophy rather than studying economics, which is essentially pseudoscience. I think we're going to look back like before Bitcoin and after Bitcoin. All financial wizardry before Bitcoin was essentially fake. It's like, you know, like when you hear stories about like savages, Coco savages, that sounds racist, right? Savages, right? Let's say a nice analogy, all right? When I talk about savages or barbarians, imagine you have a bunch of people from Germany, the Germanic savages, like a bunch of bald-headed, God of War-looking dudes in the marsh, right? Wishing for rain, and then they start chanting and praying, and you know, it's kind of like dancing around and you know, drawing sticks in the stones in the ground, right? And then they're trying to predict rain or trying to provoke rain, or like people in the Midwest when, you know, they would hold the stick thing, right? The triangle stick thing, and then try to find water, right? Or oil, what else, right? So it's all like hocus pocus. And superstition is certainly in the hearts of all humans. It's like, I think there's like a fine line between superstition, religion, spirituality, belief systems, etc. And so whenever we read these like price predictions from economists, the reason why none of it, from a rational perspective, you should never trust it, is that, like, once again, if overnight America announces they just bought 10 million Bitcoins, certainly the value of Bitcoin is going to, explode like 10x overnight, right? Whereas all these low T dudes with their fake ass candle chart, golden cross, penis arrow charts, right? Is kind of none of it actually makes sense. And I think one of the best things that I learned is, I got burned when I was in college, like my sophomore, junior year. I got into all that technical analysis, candles, whatever's, right? And I lost my life savings, $2,500 at the time, which was a big hit, because I simply misread the financials wrong in penny stocks. And I then learned from my mistakes, right? And now that I'm like managing M's, like G-Easy, not my bank account looking like my followers, M's, right? It's like the best lesson I could learn. And who knows, maybe one day when I'm managing a billion or 10 billion or 100 billion or a trillion, whatevs, it'll be different. I'm also thinking about starting my own Bitcoin treasury company here in Cambodia and or maybe Korea. Shout out to @LADojer21. Use the goat. So some other thoughts. So the reason why we can't trust none of this we see on interwebs about AI, whatevs, right? Honestly, it's all fake. Like I've been, like the last week, right? I've been so obsessed with the chat AI stuff, right? That I've actually been losing sleep over it in a good way. Like I'm like still waiting for my O3 to reset. I'm like twiddling my thumbs, right? And also my deep research mode. I might even upgrade to the $200 a month option, right? Because Michael Saylor told me to do it. Anything Michael tells me to do, I'll do it, right? And so it becomes like this weird, like, okay, I call it AI, right? I call it like the human centipede of information, right? Information comes in one end, goes out the other, and then gets recycled back into it. And so now the AI is, especially when you turn off the web search mode, right? So now at this point, the AI is getting so confused that it's like making up stuff like saying, oh, Eric Kim is starting to sell hype lifting t-shirts, and there's already like, 100,000 pre-orders. And I know that is definitely not the case because I am not, right? And then it also becomes this weird thing in which, you think something is happening, but the AI is just making it up. Because the bias of ChatGPT, right, is that it's always going to want to give you an answer, and it'll never be like, yo, I don't know. So as a consequence, the way we should charge forward is assume that everything is 100% wrong and 100% false, yet proceed. And I think AI, and when I say AI, I mean ChatGPT, the grok sucks, right? There's no second best AI. I have this funny idea also of AI monogamy. The generalized idea is, like, it's wise not to have two wives or two families, right? Just stick to one AI. ChatGPT is the best. There's no second best. Also MSTR. No, don't buy GameStop. It's and also my suggestion too is if you're in America, there is almost no reason to not buy MSTR. It's like the only thing to buy. It's like if you're in I don't know, Germany or Japan, of course buy Metaplanet. That's gonna go to Uranus. Hiroki Takashimi, you're watching this? Buy it. Put all your money on it, right? It's gonna go to the effing moon, right? And actually, it's the best performing stock on the planet by far because the Japanese yen and economy is so staggeringly terrible, and it's the only ray of hope. But still, at the end of the day, the reason why you want to buy MSTR, essentially, it's the Bitcoin mothership. So post-apocalyptic future in which, essentially the planet looks like some sort of polar vortex. What's gonna then happen is, imagine like it's like an episode of Snowpiercer. There's no more inhabitable space left. Then what's gonna happen is essentially there's only gonna be one mothership left, right? And the mothership with the most Bitcoin is essentially the mothership with the most power, resources, whatever, right? So are you gonna want to be on like a mothership with 700,000 Bitcoins or 1,000,000 Bitcoins? Or are you gonna want to be on a mothership with only like 1,000 or 10,000 Bitcoins? And this matters too, because at a certain point where, Bitcoin hits, 55, 100 million, I don't know, 1,000 million, 1 billion of Bitcoin, all the traditional rules of finance are just going to get broken, and it's going to, whatever, right? And then MSTR is going to like 100,000x, right? But anyways, so the reason why this all matters is, watch this recent presentation, 21 Ways to Wealth. I mean, like, I don't know a single person on the planet who doesn't want to be wealthy. And wealth, if utilized correctly, is probably the best benefit that you can. I think the reason why a lot of the Stoics and Cynic philosophers like Diogenes kind of had it wrong is that, I don't know, maybe they just lived in a society in which they didn't have Bitcoin, right? So if Seneca and the Stoics were alive today, they would have loved Bitcoin. It's like economic sovereignty, it's like freedom, and also everyone who follows me, you know that I'm all about the open source, right? Do you not understand that Bitcoin is open source money? Like, that itself is the number one imperative. So anyways, for me at this point, Bitcoin is like more of a moral obligation. And spread the good news of Bitcoin with love.